There are some huge conversations among the Derby County fan base at the moment, some begging for patience, other wanting change. But what is the right decision to come from Derby County's owner, David Clowes? In my opinion, he's got huge decisions to make over the course of the next few days, heading into that second international break of the season, as Derby County are really looking a little bit lacklustre. Now, obviously, Derby County haven't been great so far this season. I think everybody can acknowledge that. And yesterday I posted a video discussing Derby County's stats, their figures, and where I sort of think Derby County are going wrong in terms of John Eustace as the manager and things like that. Now, do not get me wrong. I'm not saying that John Eustace should be sacked, but it cannot go on like this. It really can't, because the more it goes on, the longer it goes on, the worse Derby County look and the worse Derby County become. Now, obviously, there's huge decisions to make at the ownership level and at the management level as well. And you can obviously let me know your thoughts on those down in the description. But if you have not done so already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But shall we get into it? Head on over to raffle.com, linked down in the description, so that you can get yourselves into the raffle to win 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice. Tickets start at just £1 per ticket, with a range of different bundles available to you, where you can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets to get 10 free, and 15 tickets for 15 free. All you need to do is head on over to Derby County's website, get yourself a fan ID. So if you are the winner of this raffle, I can send you over those tickets. And all you have to do is enter a question just a little bit about Jamie Carragher and what club he played at for his entire career. So if you haven't done so already, head on over to raffle.com, linked in the description, so that you can join the raffle for 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice. Now, obviously, Derby County have had a very poor start to life in the Championship, and that leaves David Clowes with a few decisions to make. Now, obviously, there's the opportunity of standing by John Eustace, giving John Eustace the time and the space to be able to get this team going. And then there's also the choice of potentially moving on John Eustace. Now, I don't necessarily know what's right and wrong in this situation. I don't know what decision is the right one to make. I don't know if John Eustace should be moved on. I don't know if Derby County should stick to their guns. But one thing that I do know is that the way we're playing cannot continue, and we cannot continue to be this poor. Now, do not get me wrong. I'm not saying that Derby County shouldn't have more points on the board and haven't had the ability to have more points on the board, because you look back to Stoke, we should not have lost that game 3-1. You look to Coventry, we should not have lost 5-3. You look to Ipswich Town, that should have been a victory. You look at Bristol City, we were lucky to get a draw in that one. So there's so many opportunities where Derby County have not only dropped points, but also have failed to pick up on points, if that makes sense. And I think that Derby County, as much as they are a very, very good football club, do not get me wrong, obviously I am a Derby County fan, there's a lot that is going wrong at the club right now, and that is where my problem stands. It's that you can't look at this group of players and think, oh, they're a relegation threatened group of players. You can't do that for me, and that is something which I've always had a big issue with. It's that you look at this group of players, and in my personal opinion, this group of players is by far capable of pushing the top end of the division. I'm not saying it's pushing for promotion. I'm not going to say that at all. But it's definitely a group of players that can push the top half. And the fact that we're struggling to beat teams like Charlton, struggling to get involved against teams like Preston, for me, just spells negativity. Now, don't get me wrong, the performance against Ipswich was okay. It wasn't anything spectacular. It was okay. The performance against Bristol City, for the vast majority, wasn't great. Let's not lie to ourselves here. And I think the problem that I see from Derby County is that what you're seeing on the pitch translates, and in my opinion, it's very poor. You look at the chances created. You look at things like that. XG, all of this. Now, a lot of people don't like talking about numbers, but what people need to understand is those numbers come from what you're seeing on the pitch. They're not just plucked out of thin air. And the numbers back up what I'm seeing, that it's not good enough. We're very, very poor. And as it stands right now, we are going to end up in a relegation battle because numbers-wise, I think in pretty much every category, we're in the bottom 6. Easily in the bottom 6. And that is where my problem stands because we shouldn't be this bad. You go back to last year, we had a much worse squad in my opinion. And under John Eustace, for the final 10 games, we were putting in playoff form, unbelievable defensive record, unbelievable going forward. Not saying we created a whole host of chances, but the chances we created, we put away. And don't get me wrong, we've been clinical this season. I think, if we're completely honest, I think Derby County have had something like 25 shots on target and scored 12 of them, which is phenomenal. And that's across the course of all competitions, by the way. That is phenomenal. That is very, very good. Don't get me wrong. But the problem that comes with that is when you stop being that clinical. And we saw that against Charlton. We saw that against Preston. We saw it at the weekend against Wrexham. If you don't get many chances and you're not clinical in games, ultimately you're going to end up dropping points. You're going to end up losing. You're going to end up drawing. And that's where I feel like this is where this discussion point goes to, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done from John Eustace, from the coaching staff, and even from the players. I don't think the players are void of criticism here at all, but I do think that questions need to be held of the manager, and I do think questions need to be held of where Derby County are going and where Derby County want to go, because for me right now, I don't think we're in a great position, and that's kind of the problem that I have myself. I don't, for 1 minute, believe that John Eustace should be sacked, and I'm pretty sure all of you will agree with me on that. But what I do feel is that a lot of people that are commenting on my videos recently aren't actually watching the video, aren't actually listening to what I'm saying. And it's sort of a bit frustrating because I don't understand how you can see what we're seeing and not think that something needs to change. And that doesn't mean that John Eustace has to move away. Sometimes it just means that John Eustace has to make a decision. Something has to change within the squad, whether that be stop playing 2 strikers of Adjumang and Morris, because for me it doesn't work. Morris needs to be your furthest forward player. Adjumang and Morris, could it be a partnership in the future? Yes. But should it be a partnership right now? No, absolutely not. Do I think Adjumang can have an influence? Yes. Do I think he can cause problems off the bench? Absolutely. But do I think he should be starting? I personally don't think so. I don't think he's shown enough over the course of the 2 games versus Wrexham and Charlton to really be pushing for a start. If anything, I actually think Selverson deserves a go instead of Adjumang, because I think we look, I don't know. We're just in a weird position, and I'm not a fan of it. I'm pretty sure you're not a fan of it. Nobody likes losing. Nobody likes not picking up points, and nobody likes not winning home games, and that is what we've got at the moment. Don't get me wrong, in the second half against Charlton, Derby County could have gone and scored 3 or 4 goals, but ultimately that's where the clinical edge comes in, and that's where Derby County find themselves in a very difficult position for me. And we need to get some victories on the board. We've got a tough game against Southampton on Saturday. They've not had the greatest start to life in the Championship. I believe they won the other night though. So it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes up. You can obviously let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you have not done so already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye, guys. Head on over to raffle.com, linked down in the description, so that you can get yourselves into the raffle to win 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice. Tickets start at just £1 per ticket, with a range of different bundles available to you, where you can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets to get 10 free, and 15 tickets for 15 free. All you need to do is head on over to Derby County's website, get yourself a fan ID. So if you are the winner of this raffle, I can send you over those tickets, and all you have to do is enter a question just a little bit about Jamie Carragher and what club he played at for his entire career. So if you haven't done so already, head on over to raffle.com, linked in the description, so that you can join the raffle for 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice.